What's up, you fools? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and yes, we all know by now Victor Crone, or Crone, has won Eesti Laul, the Estonian national final, with the song Storm. A storm like this can break a man like this. And of course, it's interesting to see the results happening in Eesti Laul as they came out, because he was super low with the juries, but then super high with the televoters. That it was barely enough to really actually catapult him into the top 3 to make it to the super final, where then the televoters just voted him through with a pretty clear majority. But he didn't impress the juries. Not sure if that will be reflected at Eurovision. We're here to discuss this as the ESC United expert panel. We have no clue, but we pretend, and see how we feel about the songs, and we'll provide a final score. So, the question is, I'm going to ask you guys, will Victor Crone take Eurovision by storm? See what I did there again? I love doing that. I did a pun! Okay, so let's talk this through. Zach, what do you think about Storm?
Yeah, you always have to wonder about when there's a disconnect between the jurors and the televoters, what's going on. And I actually didn't realize that in SD Law that they actually allowed people who are not, like, does he have ties to Estonia other than Stig Rasta writing the song? Or, yeah, because it was interesting to me. Like, I wonder if, like, the jury votes are almost reflective of the fact that he wasn't, so to speak, Estonian, but more a foreigner coming in from the outside and like, oh, they're trying to take our country win or something like that. But I mean, when you look at the televote, I mean, it was a pretty landslide that he won. I mean, he had, I think, more points than the second and third place entrants when they first did the first voting with 12 songs. I think Stefano Uku-Saviste had about 15,000 televotes, and Victor Crone himself had 15,000. And he beat both of them combined. So that's saying something to me. I think the song doesn't really have much going for it. I feel it's a pretty it's kind of a cute Swedish pop song, but it's just kind of middle of the road. There really isn't anything that's really making me feel something like last year's song did, or Goodbye to Yesterday did. There just really isn't anything that screams out for me. And part of me, to be completely honest, when I first heard the name Victor Crone, I maybe was expecting something like what he did in 2015 with his collaboration with Beirang Biri. Like, I loved that song. I thought that song was awesome. Yeah, and I was upset that it didn't make it to the final because I thought it deserved a spot. And I guess I just expected more based upon the name. And I guess that's the trouble when you have someone's name, you recognize that you're always expecting it to be a song that's just as good as they had last time. And a lot of times it's really hard to live up to that potential and pressure. Yeah. And maybe that's why I'm just not feeling something with this song this year, just because I'm comparing it to his 2015 effort in Sweden. But, at the end of the day, it's a nice song, but really just doesn't stand out for me.
Robert, why don't you go ahead?
So I thought Eesti Laul had some great entries this year. This isn't really one of them. I feel it's really generic. Like, really generic. It's the kind of song where you almost spend the entirety of it going, oh, I'm sure I've heard that bit before. Oh, and I'm sure I've heard that bit before too. And it's like, because you probably have heard every single element of this song at some point somewhere else before, and it's just all been glued together. I mean, having said that, I don't want you to get the idea that I absolutely hate this song, because I don't. I actually think there are some good parts, and just because it's generic, I mean, generic songs, they become generic because they do well and people like them. So there's a lot there that I do enjoy. I think that it works well. It just doesn't have the innovation there that maybe you'd like to see. But it definitely gets the basics right. He performs well. There's a nice build towards the end. And I think if he can get the live staging spot on, I think it's the kind of song that can get the audience moving a bit. But I have to say, you've got to always remember with these, storms don't last forever.
Remember.
Oh. Did you change into Matt there?
Okay, just for a second there. I know. No, it's okay. You're allowed to do a few puns here. But to get back, yeah, I mean, as we talked about, it sounds very Swedish. I totally get where people are coming from with that, right? It has such a Swedish vibe to it. It's something you would expect in Melody Festival, and where it probably qualifies for the finals and ends like in 4th, 5th place, something like that. And I don't mean that in a condescending way, because finishing 4th in Melody Festival is pretty impressive, actually. And I'm the kind of person with that song. I think I try not to overthink it, if that makes sense. In that sense, like, it's melodically pleasant to my ears. I like the progression, certain parts. It gets bigger halfway through the song, then a storm, like, it gets really big, and I feel like it renews people's focus there a little bit, and that's good. I really like that part. Now, I'm worried about, as we talked about, that Storm could be Verona 2.0, because Verona, if you remember, in Eesti Laul, flopped with the juries pretty much, and then won because of the televoters. The same thing happened to Storm, and Eurovision, though, it wasn't enough to make up for the difference, and then they didn't qualify. So I'm a little worried I'm getting like a deja vu feeling here. Now, you can say Eesti Laul juries may not always be reflective of Eurovision juries, but a pattern is there. There is a pattern overall, so that's why I'm thinking, I'm a little bit nervous about that. We have to wait and see. Again, not overthinking it. Lyrically, it's okay. Right? It's, again, not like, oh my god, this is poetry. And especially the line, a storm like this can break a man like this. It doesn't even rhyme. It's the same word. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It bothers me, that one line. Melodically, catchy, comfortable, not taking many risks melodically, right? I like it. I like the song. I cannot deny it. I'm just not jumping out of my chair and, dance around. But it's a good song. It's a good song. That's how I feel, at least, about it. What about you, Roy?
Yeah, exactly. Those lyrics really bother me. It's like, what even is this?
Yeah.
It's a storm like this. It makes no sense to me. I can totally see Avicii making this a couple of years ago, and that music did really well on the radio, and it's a really fun song that I could really just see myself listening to in like the radio in the summer when I'm just chilling with friends, going to the beach and whatever, or studying, having that in the background. But is it really a good thing for Eurovision? I'm not sure. I do think that we need songs like this in Eurovision, though. You just need those songs where you're just like, that's a cool song. Let's move on, I guess.
It's cool. Pause.
Yeah, a song like this can break a man like this.
Yeah.
Better. See, Zach already wrote a better lyrics there.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that is true. The question is, though, what are our scores and what is the ESC United overall score? It's time to find out. Exciting. Tension music. No? Okay, let's move on. Zach, your score.
No tension. I give it a 6. Middle of the road. Right around my average. Just doesn't move me, but it's catchy. It is generic, but I think Robert said it. There's a reason why the song is generic, because it's popular and it's catchy. Yeah, but it's just not. There's just. I think if it was a weaker year, this would have stood out more. But there's just so much WTF-ery this year that it sort of just gets lost in the mix. And the WTF-ery is very polarizing. It's either really good or really bad, and this year, Nice is not going to win Eurovision.
Yeah, that is probably a good thing to say, and you're right. Robert, your score?
So, I definitely am erring slightly more on the negative side compared to Zach. I gave this 4.5 out of 10. I just
Below
feel
average.
that there's... Yes, even for me, that's below average. And I just felt that this was a bit of a weaker entry on the whole, and it just... I like to see a bit of innovation. Even if it doesn't work for me, that innovation, it's just nice to see that, and this doesn't. It is, as Roy said, it's just, you'll hear it, you'll go, that's nice, and then you'll move on.
Okay. So, 4.5 from Robert. Okay, I was always going back and forth between this one. Like, it's a safe song. Safe songs will not get the highest scores from me. So, I was like, give it a 7? 7.5. I'll give it a 7. No, I'll give it a 7.5. No. And I keep going back and forth. And last night when I had to log in my vote, I put in 7.5. Right now I want to give it a 7 again. So it's, it's just like, it's half a point. So it's not like the end of the, but I was like, very, I unsure about this one, I guess. So 7 points, 7.5 from me. See, I already forgot what score I gave it. That's where I'm at. Roy.
Yeah, it's an average song. I give him that he's charismatic. That's like an extra point, I guess. I'm really liking the vibe of the song, just to listen to it casually. The staging is really unique, although maybe a bit too much in your face. So it does have a bit of plus points for me, and I ended up giving it a 7.
All right. I'm still the nicest one out of all of us, so just everyone
What's new,
watching,
Matt?
all the nice comments, please address to Matt and everything else to the rest of them. But the point is, how did the team overall feel? So the ESC United overall score is 6.90. 6.90. What do you
Higher
think?
than I expected. In all honesty, I am surprised that we're that generous to it.
Really, what did you expect?
I honestly expected something probably in more the 5 to 6 range. I thought it'd be more around average.
Yeah, it ended up being closer to the 7. And I think the reason why I'm looking at the overall scores, which I will be posting on our website, ESC United, the link is in the description box, you fools. I think, because you point out, there are very little low scores. Like, actually, people don't hate it, right? It's not a very hateable song. And I think everyone who gave it lower scores didn't feel it. They didn't give it like a 1 or a 2. They gave it like what Robert did, a 4, a 4.5, or something like that. And that is not enough to bring it down, because there are enough people who actually enjoy it and give it high scores. And I think that's what happened here. That it's just not unlikable enough. I don't know. I can't think of a word right now, but that's what I mean by that. Any other thoughts on Estonia?
No?
Nope. Okay.
I
well,
love
let's wrap it
Colin.
up. Yep. So you can check out the entire ranking of all the songs that we have reviewed so far below, and let us know. Do you like it? You dislike it? You agree? You disagree with us? Either way, it's fine. Leave your thoughts below in the comment section. We gotta move on to the next video. Have a good day, everyone.